Hello everyone, welcome back. In the last video, we did introduction of chemical equations and reactions. So today, let's continue with the lecture and let's start our class today. So, the topics which we are going to do today is the types of chemical reactions you will learn in today's lecture. Like this, these are happening in the picture as you can see. So today we are going to do the types of chemical reaction. So students, let's start. So students, there are various types of chemical reactions. As you can see, combination reaction, displacement reaction, oxidation and reduction reaction, decomposition and double displacement reaction. So in today's class, we will do these types of reactions one by one. I'll give you examples of all these reactions in detail. So by the end of today, you will be able to learn all these reactions by heart. So let's do the reactions. First of all, we will do the combination reaction. Students, what is a combination reaction? A combination reaction is a reaction in which two or more reactants combine to form a single product. See, as you can see in this picture, there is a car and the driver of the car combines and they form a product. This is a very funny image just to make you understand how two reactants combine to form a single product. So, let's take another example. See, as you can see in this picture, A and B collide and they form a product. So, example, burning of coal. Burning of coal is a combination reaction. How is it possible? See, coal is carbon and when it burns in the presence of oxygen, they produce to form carbon dioxide gas. So, during the reaction, carbon dioxide is produced, which is the product of the reaction, whereas carbon and oxygen are the reactants of this reaction. Let's do another example. Formation of water. Water forms by the combination of hydrogen and oxygen gases. So when hydrogen and oxygen gases combine, they react to form two molecules of water. So as you can see, as I have told you earlier in the reaction also, in the definition also, that when two or more reactants combine to form a single product. In these cases, in these two examples, two reactants are combining to form a single product. There can be more reactants, there can be three reactants, but the product will be a single product. So this is an example of combination reaction. Here simple combination is happening. Simple combination is taking place, nothing else. So carbon is combining with oxygen to form carbon dioxide and hydrogen is combining with oxygen to form water molecules. Okay students. Let's see another one. See, as you can see here, in the last lecture also, I have told you that the reactions, the reactants and the products should be balanced. The mass is always conserved. If the number of atoms in the reactants should be equal to the number of atoms in the product. Okay students. So as you can see in this picture, the hydrogen molecule is equivalent what is present in the water molecule. And similar is the case with oxygen. There are two atoms of oxygen in this reaction. In the reactant side and in the product side also, there are two atoms of oxygen. So this reaction is balanced. The mass is conserved. Okay students. See another example. Calcium oxide reacts with water molecule to form calcium hydroxide. So this is calcium hydroxide which is being formed. So two reactants are combining and they are forming calcium hydroxide. Okay. So this is a combination reaction. This calcium oxide is also called quicklime and calcium hydroxide is also called slaked lime. Okay students, now we will see some more examples of combination reactions. As you can see in this picture, when we blow into the solution of calcium hydroxide, a white solid mass is produced. So, calcium hydroxide solution reacts with carbon dioxide gas to form a white solid, that is calcium carbonate. Students, we can write the chemical equation for that. Calcium hydroxide, which is aqueous, reacts with carbon dioxide from air which we exhale. See in this picture, as you can see, the girl is blowing into the beaker. So when we exhale, we release carbon dioxide gas. So calcium hydroxide reacts with carbon dioxide gas to produce calcium carbonate. So this is the white solid which is produced, and water. So this is another example of combination reaction. Let's do one more reaction. Ammonia reacts with hydrogen chloride to form ammonium chloride. Ammonia, which is NH3, it reacts with hydrogen chloride HCl and they combine to form ammonium chloride NH4Cl. Okay students, so these were the examples of combination reactions. Let's do our exothermic reactions. Students, exothermic reactions are those reactions which release heat when reactants combine to form product. In that case, in that reaction, some amount of heat is released. So these reactions are called exothermic reactions. For example, burning of natural gas, like CH4 is a natural gas. It is methane gas. So when it burns in the presence of oxygen, it produces carbon dioxide, water molecules, and heat is released. As you can see here, in the product side, heat is being released, which shows it is an exothermic reaction. So in case of exothermic reaction, heat is written in the product side. Okay students, let's see one more example. Respiration is also an exothermic reaction. Students, respiration is also exothermic. How can you say that? See, C6H12O6, glucose molecule, when they react with oxygen gas, they produce carbon dioxide and water. And we know when we respire, we release energy also. So energy is what? It is the heat. Okay, so energy is released. So because energy is being released in this reaction, in this respiration, in this conversion of glucose to carbon dioxide and water, that's why respiration is also an exothermic reaction. Okay students, as you can see in this diagram also, glucose, which we get from our food, combines with oxygen and it's gets converted into carbon dioxide and water. And in this process, energy is also released in the form of ATP molecules, which we use for all the activities we do. Okay students, so respiration is an exothermic reaction. So students, exothermic reactions are those reactions which release heat when reactants combine to form products. So in these reactions, energy or heat is released. Okay. So students, now we will do our second type of reaction, that is decomposition reaction. Students, this type of reaction is just opposite to combination reaction. See, this is a reaction in which the reactant, the compound, splits into two or more simpler substances. See, in this picture, again, this is a very funny picture. As you can see, the reactant, the substance, the compound is divided into two simple substances. Let me give you an example. Like, as you can see here, AB is a simple compound which splits into two simple products, A and B. Okay, students. So, decomposition reaction are of three types. First one is thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition, and photolytic decomposition. So students, we will do all these three types of decomposition reaction. So let's do. First is, students, thermal decomposition. Students, this thermal word, it is related to heat. It is related to heat, energy. So in this reaction, heat is used, energy is used. Okay, so let me give you an example. See, ferrous sulfate divides into ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So this ferrous sulfate, which is green in color, when we heat ferrous sulfate, so it gets converted into ferric oxide, which is reddish brown in color, and in that process some gases are released, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So some gases are released when we heat ferrous sulfate. So students, what is happening in this reaction? So I will tell you what is actually happening in this reaction. See, as you can see, we have given heat to this particular reactant. What happens when we give this heat to this reactant? So what happens is, as you can see in this diagram, as you can see, we have taken this test tube and we have taken ferrous sulfate crystals in this test tube. We are burning it. We are providing heat to it. So after some time, these crystals will be turned into reddish brown color, and that reddish brown colored crystals are of ferric oxide. And then and in that process also, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide gases are released. You can actually smell that burning sulfur. So when we heat ferrous sulfate, this heat is used by ferrous sulfate to break the bonds of sulfur and iron. This heat is used by iron and sulfur to break their bonds. So in that case, sulfur is released out as sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide, and iron forms bond with oxygen, forming ferric oxide. So in every reaction, when there is a decomposition, students, whenever there is a decomposition reaction, when the reactant has to split up into two or more products, always there will be a requirement of heat, there will be a requirement of energy, because there is a strong bond between the reactants. As you can see, there must be a strong bond between iron and sulfur, and to break that bond is very very strong. To break that bond, we need energy, we need heat. So in natural reactions, in natural environmental conditions, this heat is not supplied. When the heat is not supplied to this ferrous sulfate, they do not break the bond. But when externally heat is supplied, that much amount of heat is supplied so that iron and sulfur can break their bond, and sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide gases can be released. So ferric oxide can be formed. So in all the decomposition reactions, energy or heat is required. So in this particular case, to break the bond of iron and sulfur, to break the bond of reactants, which is very strong, heat is released, heat is used. So this is a thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition, when the decomposition is carried out by the help of heat to break the bonds. Okay. Let's do another example. Calcium carbonate, which is limestone. When we heat calcium carbonate, it forms calcium oxide and sulfur dioxide. This process also, in this case also, calcium carbonate, which is limestone, when we provide heat to calcium carbonate, the bond between calcium and carbon, it breaks down and carbon dioxide is released. Okay, so in this case also there is going decomposition of calcium carbonate by the help of heat. So students, thermal decomposition is done by the help of heat. Okay. So students, now we will do a second type of decomposition, that is electrolytic decomposition. So students, as you can understand by this word, electrolytic, it means it is related to electricity. Yes, Exactly, this is related to the electricity. So this decomposition is done by passing electricity. When we pass electricity to a compound, to a reactant, the bonds of the reactant breaks down and they form the products. See an example. This is water, H2O. When we pass electricity to H2O, what happens is it breaks down to form hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. In this particular reaction, the bonds, the strong bonds between hydrogen and oxygen, it breaks down with the help of this electric current. With the help of electric current, it breaks down and hydrogen gas and oxygen gas is released. Students, let us understand this with the help of a diagram. See, as you can see in this picture, we have taken a beaker and we have taken water in that. We have taken graphite rods and connected it with a 6-volt battery. This is our anode end and this is our cathode end. Anode is positive end and cathode is negative end. In this particular case, it is electrolysis. So in electrolysis, anode is positive and cathode is negative. Okay, students. So what happens when we pass electricity to this water? When electrolysis is done in water, what happens? This bond breaks down. Students, this bond breaks down. So what happens? When water is provided with electricity, it breaks down to form hydrogen ion and oxygen ion. Okay, students, it breaks down to form hydrogen ion and oxygen ion, H positive and O2 negative. So this is our positive cation and this is our negative anion. So as you can see, as I have told you in this particular example, when we pass electricity, the strong bonds of hydrogen and oxygen breaks down and they produce ions. They produce ions, hydrogen ion and oxygen ion. So this is the positive ion and this is the negative ion. Now they both ions are present in this water solution and in this solution. So these ions will move towards the opposite terminal. They will move toward the opposite terminal. See, this is a positive ion. So to which terminal it will move? It will move to the negative terminal. It will move towards the negative terminal. And this is the negative anion. So it will move towards the positive terminal. Towards the positive terminal. And positive terminal is our anode and negative terminal is our cathode. Okay. So students, all these negatively charged all these negatively charged oxygen anions will get collected at the positive terminal, at the anode. So at anode, what will happen? At anode, what will happen? All the oxygen anion will combine to form oxygen gas. Oxygen molecule will be formed at this positive terminal at anode. And what will happen at cathode? At cathode, what will happen? Cathode is our negative terminal. So the hydrogen cations will combine to form hydrogen molecule, hydrogen gas. So hydrogen gas will be formed at cathode terminal, which is this negative terminal. As you can see here, hydrogen is being formed. This test tube, it is hydrogen. And at anode you can see oxygen is collected at anode in this test tube. This is the oxygen. Okay, students. So this was electrolysis of water. Electrolysis of water. Students, what is electrolysis? What do you mean by electrolysis? It means breakdown. Word lysis means breakdown. So breakdown of water with the help of electricity. with the help of electricity. So we are breaking down the molecules of water, the bond of hydrogen and oxygen in a water molecule with the help of electric current. With the help of electric current, with the help of electricity, we are breaking the bond between hydrogen and oxygen to produce hydrogen molecule, hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. Okay, students. So students, now we will do photolytic decomposition. Photolytic decomposition, it means breakdown. Lysis means, again I have told you, lysis means breakdown. So photolytic decomposition means the breakdown of a compound in the presence of, with the help of sunlight. So the decomposition is carried out in the presence of sunlight. Let us see an example. See, silver chloride, two molecules of silver chloride which is solid. When sunlight is provided to it, it breaks down to form silver and chlorine gas. So there is a breakdown, there is a decomposition which is carried out with the help of sunlight. So students, in this example, the energy which is required to break the bond of silver and chlorine, is provided by sunlight. So sunlight provides that energy to break the bond between silver and chlorine, so that silver molecule and chlorine molecule can be released out in the products. Let us see another example. Here it is, silver bromide. Similarly, when we provide sunlight to it, it produces silver and bromine gas. So it converts it into silver solid and bromine gas is released out. Again, in this, sunlight is providing the energy to break down the bond between silver and bromine. Okay, student. So this is photolytic decomposition. So this reaction is used in black and white photography. We use this reaction in black and white photography. So students, let us now do endothermic reactions. All these reactions which we have done in decomposition, whether thermal, uh, electrolytic or photolytic, all these reactions are endothermic reactions. Endothermic reactions means those reactions which require energy in the form of heat, light or electricity to break the reactants, to break the bonds. So to break the reactants. When we need to break the bond between the reactants, we require energy. And energy is provided in the form of heat, light or electricity. So thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition or photolytic decomposition, all these decompositions are examples of endothermic reactions, because in these reactions we require energy to break the bonds of the reactants. Okay, students? Students, now we will do our third type of reaction, that is displacement reaction. So students, what is a displacement reaction? It is a chemical reaction in which a more reactive element displaces a less reactive element from its salt solution. See an example. This man in yellow one can displace the other man which is in red one because he is more powerful than him. So this is an example of displacement reaction. The element, the substance which is more reactive can displace the substance which is less reactive. Okay, students, so this is displacement reaction. Let us now do an experiment. What happens when we add iron nails to copper sulfate solution? Students, copper sulfate solution is blue in color and we add iron nail. What happens? See, this iron is more reactive as compared to copper. So what happens is iron displaces copper from its salt solution, which is blue in color, and forms another salt solution which is dirty green in color. It is ferrous sulfate, and it displaces copper. So the color of the solution which was blue in color, so it will change to a dirty green color due to the formation of iron sulfate. Iron can do so because it is more reactive than copper, whereas the opposite of this reaction will not be possible. If we take copper and we add it in iron sulfate, so it will not be able to displace it from its salt solution because copper is less reactive as compared to iron. So it will not be able to displace iron from its salt solution. Okay, students. So let us see another example. When we add zinc to copper sulfate solution, again zinc is more reactive as compared to copper, so it can displace copper from its salt solution forming zinc sulfate. So because zinc is more reactive than copper. So students, this was displacement reactions. So students, now our next reaction is double displacement reaction. So what is a double displacement reaction? It is a reaction in which new compounds are formed by mutual exchange of ions between two compounds. See, in this reaction, two compounds exchanges their ions. There is a mutual exchange between the two compounds. See, here as you can see in this picture, these two drivers are exchanging their vehicles. There is a mutual exchange. No one is powerful and no one is strong. They are mutually exchanging. Okay, students. So let us do this by an example. See, sodium sulfate, when it reacts with barium chloride, it forms barium sulfate and sodium chloride. So sodium sulfate exchanging barium to form barium sulfate, and barium chloride is getting converted into sodium chloride by the exchange of sodium ion from its solution. So sodium and barium both are exchanging their salt solutions. There is a mutual exchange. So this type of reaction is double displacement. Okay, students. So this barium sulfate which is being formed, it is a solid, it is a precipitate. So precipitate is formed, and this type of reaction is also called precipitation reaction, in which a solid mass, a precipitate, is formed. So barium sulfate is a precipitate. So this reaction is also called a precipitation reaction. So students, now we will do our last type of reaction, that is oxidation and reduction. So what is oxidation? Oxidation is addition of oxygen to a substance and removal of hydrogen from a substance. So whenever there is addition of oxygen, there will be oxidation, and if there is removal of hydrogen, then also this is called oxidation reaction. See an example. When carbon is added to oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide. So here it is oxidation taking place of carbon. Carbon is being oxidized to carbon dioxide. Okay, students. Let's see one more example. Copper, when added to oxygen in a small amount of heat, then it forms copper oxide. So here also copper is being oxidized to copper oxides. In both of these examples, oxygen is added, so this is oxidation reaction. Let's see reduction now. Reduction is just opposite to oxidation. It is addition of hydrogen to a substance or removal of oxygen from a substance. When there is addition of hydrogen, then it is called reduction. Or if there is removal of oxygen also, then also it is called reduction. Okay, let us do an example. Copper oxide, when added to hydrogen and a small amount of heat is added, then it converts into copper and water. So here what is happening? See in this image, copper oxide is losing its oxygen molecule and it is forming copper. It is losing its oxygen molecule, so it is undergoing reduction. It is losing there is removal of oxygen from this copper oxide, so it is undergoing reduction. Whereas hydrogen, in hydrogen it is getting converted into H2O by the addition of oxygen. So here oxidation and reduction, both of these are taking place. So this is the example, these are the examples of oxidation and reduction. Okay, students. So in this reaction, because oxidation and reduction both are taking place simultaneously, so these type of reactions are also called redox reactions. So there is always oxidation and reduction Whenever they took place simultaneously, these are called redox reactions. Okay, students? So this was oxidation and reduction reaction. Thank you for watching. Let's meet in our next video.